Silence. Good morning, everyone, and you can also do this in the afternoon. So you can it can also be an afternoon session. I hope you are doing well, even though the heat kind of hit everywhere, I guess, now, kind of. I saw also that Paris has flowed, so this is this is a bit interesting, actually, everything that is happening. And the heat is when we talk about the heat, it's of course the outside heat, but it's also the heat that is happening in us. Okay, and so the heat that we also have in, it's like it's going to be anything like that is going to put you in a state of fight, because heat is going to create an arousal of like sympathetic arousal inside. So the summer, we know, is the Pitta season in Ayurveda. And so this Pitta season, this fire, Pitta means fire that we will have inside us, can also create some anger, can create some sense of fight or the sense of escaping things, the escaping talks, escaping things that we need to do for ourselves also. So anything that is going to create a sympathetic arousal is what we call heat. And it can be many things. It can be the real temperature heat that we have in our body. And I don't know if you realize, but when it's hot, people are more aggressive. People tend to fight more. So that's happening. That's creating, that's arising here. But also the heat can also be something that is being creating inside, because your nervous system is in survival mode. So when we are in survival mode, we may have tendency to go into doing more, creating more, working more, talking more. And this could be really like being restless. Okay. And so this is what we're going to work on today. We're going to try to put ourselves more into a parasympathetic nervous system, but parasympathetic, I would say the positive one, not the one where we shut down, the one where we learn how to rest, how to restore, how to land, how to maybe just receive also. And when sometimes too many things happen to us at the same time, well, we just need to receive. And maybe behind all that, there is something, there is a message, there is a signal, there is something that we need to listen, learn. I'm not saying it's always like that. And sometimes it's just like calm, rest, and see. And so what do we need when this situation happens? Well, we first and foremost, the first thing we need is we need to tell the system that we care. We need to tell the system, that we have compassion, that it can be okay, that we are here to actually prevent the system to get really into too intense heat. Okay. And so there are things to do. So when it's hot, we drink more. So make sure you have water next to you. Okay. When it's When it's hot, what are we doing? We slow down. We slow down what we are doing, and we don't put the AC on full on and continue to do crazy stuff, huh? Because outside it's telling you to slow down. So maybe sometimes we just need to slow down. We need to acknowledge also, not suppress, not say, okay, I'm not listening to this. Okay, there's a message. Maybe we can listen to that message. We need to welcome instead of rejecting. And I know that's the most difficult thing to do, welcoming negative things or welcoming the heat, welcoming things that is going to create anger. How can I welcome these things? And this is, I understand if you ask yourself this. And working on, and so how can we welcome? Well, it's working on, like, slowly, beat by beat. It's working on a certain sense of safety. What is it that now is just helping me to have a little sense of safety? And while I continue to talk, maybe you can just look around and check, is there anything around me when I look? And just let your eyes wander. And let really relax your eyes around. Let your eyes wander around on the things that are around you that may bring you enough a sense of safety for now. And what we want is really to create a friendly environment, more friendly than hostile. And so it's very important. Like, for example, for me, I love to have pictures of my families, or I love to have some objects. And when I looked at them, like even these little murtis that I have there, I like to look at them because there's something of a relaxation that is happening inside me. Or I have a drawing of my daughter that she drew when she was maybe 8 years old of me. I have, like, evet, I'm saying evet, you see, in Turkish. I'm putting things around me that when I look at them, there is a sense of relaxation that is happening inside me. And so surround yourself with a friendly environment. Surround yourself with friends. Social engagement is so important. So whenever you can, find this group, find these people that are gonna make you feel safe. And sometimes it's just this, it's coming to a session. If you cannot go to a session in person, this is a session here online with us. And we know, we are here. And it's really also is as important to find your way, whatever it is, whoever it is, and to surround yourself with people that will bring a sense of safety for you. What is it that we are doing also? Well, what makes you feel good? It can be a walk, can be to go out and have an ice cream. It can be anything. Go and watch a movie in a cinema that is going to be cold or with AC. It can be going to swim if you can. So this is what we're going to work on today. And I would like you, if it's okay with you, to put one hand on your heart, one hand on your solar plexus, knowing that the heat, of course, it's coming also from outside, but it can also come from inside, from our experiences. I don't know if you saw it, but I posted something this week that the heat and the trauma and whatever is happening inside us is an experience, and nobody can tell you why are you feeling that, okay? Because nobody knows what's going on inside. And so whenever an event is happening, the experience of it is what we're going to call the heat, or maybe the trauma, or whatever you want to call it. So be gentle with that. And by putting your hands here into your system, your body, you start to welcome yourself. It's like this touch is a gesture of, I have you. And the first thing that we're going to do, and we're going to finish with that too, this session, we're going to do some Shitali breath. Shitali is the breath where you take the tongue, you roll your tongue. If you cannot roll your tongue, you take the tip of the tongue onto your palate and you breathe through the tongue. And so it's going to be either this, and you exhale with Ujjayi, or you inhale with the tip of the tongue on the palate, and you exhale with Ujjayi. And you continue this breath, and you inhale through the tongue, you exhale with Ujjayi, and this breath, as much as is cooling the system inside, is cooling the system, whether the heat is coming from the heat outside or from a certain heat that is happening inside you. So be present with the sensation of fresh that you take when you inhale through your tongue. Maybe you can have a longer exhale if it feels proper for you. Maybe you don't want to bother now with the count or anything. And with this breath, just arrive to your practice. And as you arrive, you may want to have an intention, maybe for the practice, because it's just what you can foresee now. And so what would you like to explore with with your practice? What would you like to experience with this practice? So the experience is going to create something different inside you. One more. And then with your hands that you placed on the body, maybe you want to have create some movement. You want to put your hands maybe on your thighs, maybe on your lower back. And so follow your hands, and where your hands want to go, where you feel that a little bit of touch and a nice way of touching is going to create a little sense of safety. Maybe you want to have like a sensation of a hug, of hugging yourself, and it's okay. You know, we already we are the first person to take care of ourselves. And maybe passing your hands onto your face, onto your eyebrows. Sometimes it feels very tense on the eyebrows or onto the head and the temporal muscles before going to the bones. Yeah, there are little muscles. Sometimes they are very tense there into your forehead, into your jaw, and the jaw is also, and if you feel that the jaw is tense, and sometimes at night we're grinding onto your ears, a little massage and a soft touch on the ears, and really all that is done with a gentle intention. The head, and sometimes also massaging your skull feels good and something nice to do right now. Massaging onto the back with your thumbs, and you can find onto the base of your skull here, you can find some places where it feels good to go and massage and release tension. Or going down with your thumbs. Or putting one hand onto the forehead and one hand onto the occiput. Welcome any sigh, any yawning. And continue again for these few seconds to really welcome the touch. And maybe having your hands onto your chest, and you can put one hand on top of the other onto the chest, and you kind of like in the heart area here, you kind of do some nice and soft rotation with your skin. And so it's not the hand rotating, it's really like take your skin with you and you rotate. And sometimes it's very tense here. And again, it's really arrival to the practice. And you connect here to any tenderness that you may have around the heart. Maybe with a little mantra that everything is okay. Everything right now is okay. I'm not saying after the practice. I'm just saying right now, if I'm on my mat and I practice, everything is okay. Oh, and get in touch with this tenderness. Maybe breathe into it. Mm. Oh. And as you release, you may want to receive again for a few seconds. Receiving good things and receiving good words, a practice is also very good to nourish your system and to find that even if it's little, that little sense of safety that is gonna help you to respond instead of react. And when we respond, we are definitely soothing our nervous system. And from here, we're going to transition. So all the time, and make sure you can have a little sip of water if it's needed. We're going to transition to a child pose. So child pose is a really good also practice, and when we just need to surrender to what is, and sometimes we want to fight, we want to escape things, but they are here. So what can I do? It's hot, so what can you do? Well, maybe I can put myself in child pose. And as you put yourself in child pose, maybe you want to extend your arms, relax your forehead onto the ground. If it's needed, you can have a cushion underneath your forehead if it's better for you. And breathing and sensing. And it's a very nice sensation to rest your forehead. The front of the brain is the brain of the doer, is the brain of the activation, is the brain that is make us do, is putting us in action. And sometimes we just want to rest that part. And then we're gonna transition now to the right with our arms. So we go into a twisted child pose. Try to keep your head on the ground. Also, don't go too far to the right. You are invited to adjust if there is a need for a block or a cushion underneath your head. And then as we go back to the center, we now go all the way to the left. Welcome every sigh, every big breath. Make sure your jaw is relaxed, your head is heavy. And then you transition back to the center.
maybe massaging your forehead, and so you can mobilize your head, your forehead on the ground. Mm. And maybe you want to massage the crown. Mm? So you move, you roll and the head and the crown of the head on the ground. So forehead and then the crown and then down. Hmm. Again, when we do this, when we massage on the skull, we give informations of relaxation. Hmm. Hmm. Of soothing, of slowing down. Hmm. Maybe one more. Mhm. And then from here, you're going to walk your hands back and come onto your knees. If it's okay with you, of course. And you can always sit on blocks and cross your legs. Hmm. Hmm. And from here, we're going to do the staircase breath. You're going to inhale in 4 steps and exhale through the mouth. So you inhale, you stop, you inhale, stop, inhale, stop, inhale, stop. And you open the mouth and exhale. And really imagine that the last part is like a waterfall. So do this breath to the staircase, like you with each inhale, you step one more stair. Ah. 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 Again, if there is any yawn, just yawn with your mouth wide open. One more. And then mobilizing your spine, you can mobilize, start to move a little bit on this freestyle. I'm showing you things, but you may want to mobilize in another way. You may want to go from side to side onto your seat. Or you may want to do some cat cow in a seated position here. Okay, so really go a little bit freestyle, and I showed you the mobilization on the spine, but maybe it's another one that you would like to explore. So maybe you want to go into twist from side to side also. So it's very important that to find this sense of safety, you listen to what your system needs now. Mm. Mm. Ah. Mm. Maybe it's a little bit too much to stay seated onto your heels, so you come into all four and you want to stretch the back of the legs. And you come into this O4 and you stretch, you want to alternate, and and maybe you want to do some nice cat-cow. Some rotations. So really go freestyle and listening to the body informations. And I know that freestyle sometimes is like not the question, and you're like, okay, I just want to follow you, and then follow me. Don't activate the heat, the sympathetic nervous system. Now maybe you want to open the front body, and then go back. Maybe you want to try to come into a tabletop on the other side. So you put your feet on the ground, you put your hands on the ground, and you want to lift the hips and let your head back, and then you go down and you lift and your head back and you go down. Maybe one more. Then you can release your hips. They are still off the ground, but you swing from side to side. You swing your hips. Like imagine all the fluids inside your pelvis. And then you come back and you come into a cross-legged position, and you want to do this nice cat-cow. And as you come back into neutral, maybe pause a little bit again for receiving, for asking maybe your body, is it what we do, what I do, is it really something that helps me to soothe my system and to slow down my system, my activation inside? And then with the hands, we're gonna rotate. And so the rotation on the joints are so good for helping, and let's go the other direction, for helping to release all what we store inside. And we may store toxins, and toxin can be anger, can be something that is activate your sympathetic nervous system. And then we rotate, and the other joint now, the elbows, and other direction. And we rotate the joint of the shoulders. And the other direction. And you pose. Maybe you want to rotate your head in one direction. And then the other direction. And as you come back to center, maybe you pause for a few seconds. Maybe this rotation in your head has created some lightheaded sensation. So you want to soothe that also. Maybe it was too intense. And that would be nice to actually be aware of that. When is it that my system goes in a place that it's too intense for me? And then you're going to take your right foot and rotate now the joint of the ankle. It's also when it feels hot, this is the best thing you can do and to release inflammation. And then other direction. Now you want to release inflammation. Inflammation is heat. Inflammation is sympathetic nervous system. So you definitely want to release all the toxins inside. And then rotation of a joint in the knee for one direction. And the other direction. And rotation into the hips in one direction. And the other direction. Taking your leg in the back and gently mobilizing your hip joint again. So always remember your intention. If your intention was, for example, to stop doing, to stop being in action and just receiving, here how it is going to change the way you are mobilizing your hip joint. How is it going to change that? Maybe adding the arm, but just add the arm if not in an automatic way, if it's really bringing you that sense of I'm slowing down and I'm receiving. And then from here we come back into a cross-legged position, just posing. Again, maybe having a sip of water. And then we go to the other leg. So rotation on the ankle first. If you have swollen feet or legs, this is one thing you need to do every day into the heat. Other direction. Mobilization on the knee in one direction. And then the other direction. Mobilization on the hip, one direction. And the other. Really mobilizing and putting your leg in the back into the deer pose. And again, as you go to your hip joint, maybe you want to ask, if what was my gentle intention? What was my intention, and is the way I move is matching my intention? Sending the arms or not? And then again, when you come back to a cross-legged position, just be present and receive. And then we're going to come, I'm going to transition. And the next invitation is to come onto a Sphinx pose. So you take your forearms on the ground, you point your toes. So first we point the toes and try to have not only your feet open, okay, but your feet really parallel. And as you're here into this posture, just observe also, first of all, your belly, your chest. Observe if this is okay for your shoulders and your lower back, okay? If it's not, just observe how you need to mobilize your belly, so it's not pinching your lower back. That's very important. And then from here, we're gonna lift. We're gonna engage the belly. We lift and we come back. We observe these two. So you engage your belly, you lift, and you come back. So let's maybe exhale and come back. Here we kind of search for our agency, okay? Can I connect to my belly to find a little bit of agency for myself? So, and then you take one hand on top of the other and you take your forehead on it and you rest here. And then as you come back onto your forearms, this time you're going to tuck the toes under and you're going to explore this. You're going to engage again your belly. Maybe because your belly is pushing you back, you lift and then you inhale and you come back very gently. Okay, so acknowledging the heat is important, soothing the heat is important, but also telling the body another information, telling the body, you can do it. You're doing it actually. Here you're doing it. You are engaging your belly, you are working your core. And telling the body that you have also a resource of agency that you can only always tap in. Let's do two more. And then when you come back here, you're going to take one hand on top of the other. You're going to open your feet and your legs this time into the crocodile, and you're going to rest your forehead on it. You rest your head, you rest your neck, your shoulders. Make sure you're really resting. There is not a part of the body that is resistant to that attraction by the gravity. And then from here, we're going to take the feet back parallel. You're going to take your hands next to your chest. You're going to push yourself back into this puppy dog, and when you stretch also your arms. And then you're going to walk your hands next to your knees. You're going to pass onto your feet. And as you stay down into this inversion, just observe. Can I also imagine that from my tailbone, there is a waterfall that goes all the way to my skull, to the bowl of my skull? And then slowly you're going to roll yourself up. So when you come into this standing position, some things are happening there, and you want to distribute. So let's mobilize like a snake or like a wave, like we are in water, and we mobilize here. Sweetly, softly. Again, we are mobilizing the ankles, the knees, the hips. It's very important, especially the lower part of the body, when it's hot. They have the tendency to swollen. And so by recreating mobilization, you are actually recreating circulation. One more. And pause. When you do it, and we need circulation to really eliminate and to not have something that is stagnating. And stagnation, it can be a physical thing, but it can be also stagnation in the mind. And I don't know if it happens to you, but rumination is a horrible stagnation in the mind. You know, these things that we repeat constantly, and that it's creating and entertaining this bad sensation inside. So as you open the feet and bend the knees, we're gonna swing. So swing is nice because you can also sense the air touching your arms, your armpits. And so we swing from side to side. And as you swing, we are not doing it like we do when we do the morning sessions and we want to detox. We are doing it like here in a very soft way. So again, go to your sensations, to go to your intention, and move in a way, to that it's really matching your intention. So you can inhale through the nose, you can exhale through the mouth. It's always what the body is indicating you. He's your thermometer, actually. He's the one you need to listen all the time. And then as you come back here, let's move into the front of the mat and sense the rebound of the ground, of the earth beneath you, into your feet. And as you inhale, maybe you sense a lengthening of the spine, and as you exhale, you're going to roll yourself down, all the way down. Again, imagining that there is a waterfall from your tailbone all the way to the crown. Maybe you want to shake the head yes and no. And then let's come into a downward facing dog, please. In downward facing dog, I'm going to float forward into plank, maybe deliver my knees, maybe not, go all the way to the ground. Inhaling, opening the front body. Exhaling, releasing, and going with maybe I open my hands a little bit and I go side to side with my shoulders, side to side with my shoulders. And then you take your hands next to the chest. You push back, seat to heels. Maybe you can linger here and stretch the spine, your head, your neck. And then you come into downward facing dog, please. And then you bend your knees, you look forward, and you step forward. Inhaling, looking up and forward. Exhaling, release. Using the next exhalation and roll yourself up, all the way up, one vertebra after the other. When you arrive up, you may want to keep your eyes closed or not. If they are open, keep them relaxed. Inhaling through the nose. We're going to do a second round of this. And you exhale, you roll yourself down, one vertebra after the other. You inhale, you look up and forward, you extend and the back of the legs. And as you exhale, you release. You stay a little bit here, imagining this waterfall along the spine going all the way to the crown. And then from here, we go again into downward facing dog, please. Each time we are in inversion, so downward dog is also an inversion because your head is lower than your heart. Just observing if there is a way to let go that and to allow this circulation to have another perspective. And then from here, we're going to go into a plank and maybe deliver the knees to the ground and going all the way down. Let's have one cobra, your cobra. And down. Let's have the hands wide open and stretching the shoulders from one side and the other. And then from here, you release, you take your hands next to your chest and you go back into downward facing dog, please. As you bend your knees, you look forward and you really stepping one foot at a time, one foot at a time. We don't go fast. You come back in the front. You sense the groundiness of your feet in the ground. You may want to move the hips from side to side. You inhale, you look up and forward. You exhale, you release. And with your next exhale, you're going to slowly roll yourself up, one vertebra after the other. When you arrive up, being present with the sensation. And from here, you're going to take your arms up and lift your left leg up. And then swing very slowly and rebound and take your right leg up and down and rebound. And this time you take your left leg up. And very slowly you're going to take this left foot back into this low lunge. And we kind of rebound into this low lunge. You want to move the knee back and forth, back and forth. And then taking your hands, and so to really assure, you want to be safe, okay? So you put your two hands here on your knees, on your knee, and you go up. And maybe you want to rebound onto this high lunge. Taking your arms up, you want to open in Warrior Two. And let's inhale and take your hands together in Anjali Mudra. When you exhale through the teeth with a shh. You inhale, you extend the front leg. And you exhale, shh. And again. Shh. Resting into your right foot, into your left foot. Taking your forearm to the thigh and your left arm alongside your ears. Standing here and again feeling. Can I allow myself to just receive now? Inhaling, going all the way up. Taking the right foot more in a V shape, taking your arms up and having this 5-pointed star posture. And breathing into your chest, breathing your compassion, your self-love, but also breathing the sensation that it's going to be okay. It's hot. There's a lot of things happening now, but I'm going to be okay. From here, as you release your hands, you're going to come into a goddess pose. Let's take the arms up and arms down and circulate. We do rotation, circulation with the arms. And while you do so, maybe you can inhale through the lips like you sip a beautiful lemonade. And exhale, Ujjayi. One more. And then you rest your hands onto your knees and you want to stretch your shoulders a little bit like we did when we were in Cobra. So you stretch one side and the other. And then as you come back, like in this warrior two position with your legs, you're going to extend the front leg and come into a Trikonasana. Don't forget to take your head where there is no heat happening. So where you don't have to make effort. This is not the practice today. And then from here, you bend the front knee, you lift the back heel, and you rebound forward. You inhale, you look up and forward. As you exhale, you release. You take your head, you keep your head down, you shake your head, yes. You shake your head, no. And with the next exhale, you slowly roll yourself up. Receiving the practice, slowing down, taking your arms up and taking your right knee up and swing in a slow motion and lift the left and swing in this slow motion, lifting the right. And from here, coming into a low lunge, where you extend and bend the front knee. And then you're going to use your hands here, no effort, and actually use your hands like they are accessory that can help you and to actually go into where you want to go. And then as you take your arms up this time and you just rebound. So if the arms up are too much, you can keep your hands onto your hips, okay? And then from here, we go into a warrior two position. Then you're going to extend the front leg and take your hands together. When you exhale, you're going to do a shh and bend your front knee. You inhale and you exhale. Shh. Inhale and exhale. Shh. As you find your warrior two, find the sensation in your feet. And then come to rest your forearm to your thigh and your right arm alongside your ear. As you go back to your gentle intention, what could change if I am observing my intention? What could change the sensation in my body? And then you go up, you extend both legs, you take your left foot a little bit more to the front, so you come into two V-shaped feet, and you come into this five-pointed star shape. Maybe breathing in the front, in the back, in the side of your rib cage. And if you look at the dogs, when it's hot outside, they are panting. They are panting to get some, because they cannot breathe properly. So here, can you get long inhale and long exhale and refresh your system? And then you release your hands and you're going to bend your knees and come into this goddess pose. And let's, again, maybe you do the other rotation. Maybe you don't remember what you were doing, so it's okay. Just rotate your arms, inhaling like you sip a beautiful lemonade, fresh lemonade, and exhaling with ujjayi, a very soft ujjayi. Even a sigh. One more. And then from here, you turn your left foot forward. You keep your legs straight. You come into the Trikonasana. And then you take both hands in the front. You lift your back heel. You take the back foot forward. Inhaling Ardha Uttanasana. Exhaling, release. Shaking the head yes and shaking the head no. Allowing, or maybe the hips to also move side to side. And as you bend your knees, you're going to slowly roll yourself up again. And I'm going to ask you to take your mat close to either a chair or a couch or a wall. And if you have a wall, that would be the best. We're going to do at the end a Viparita Karani, okay? But for now, we're just going to sit. So you will have your legs up. At the end, we're going to do legs up. And here, you're going to come and find a comfortable seated position. And we're going to do, so we first going to do the dog panting breath, which is like this. And I want you to feel that there is freshness getting inside, okay? So let's inhale deeply through the nose. Let's exhale everything out. Let's inhale in a comfortable level. Tongue out and very heavy. And maybe don't go very fast, just pump in a way that you pump the fresh air in. And as you release, maybe you want to have a sip of water. And we're gonna do the shitali like we did at the beginning. So either tongue like a straw, either tip of the tongue onto the palate. And if you find it really good for you, the sip like we just did. And exhaling with ujjayi. Okay? So let's do it. And maybe you want to inhale and count 4 or 5, and exhale, count 6, 8, or 10. And if you don't want to count, you can also just having the sensation that you breathe, you exhale longer than you inhale when you breathe. Taking your time, enjoying that moment, no rush, just present with each inhale and each exhale. One more. When you go back to your natural breathing, maybe you can sense some freshness in your chest. And so we're going to lie on our back. So you can either take your legs like this if you have a chair or a couch, okay, and you have your legs resting on it. If you have a wall, you can definitely use the wall for this Viparita Karani. So you get hips the closest you can, and your legs up. And then you can use your mat or your back to get closer up to the wall, and you just stay here. And if it's not available at all for you, you can go into Shavasana. Maybe you hear outside these amazing insects of summer, cicadas. And maybe this is the sound of summer that you want to hear, to soothe your system. You can put your hands wherever it feels good to have them. Observe your heartbeat, your breath. And probably there is a nice equanimity now after the practice, a nice sense of a coherence between the heartbeat and the breath. And that gives a sense of balance, of equanimity. Maybe you can wait for a long and nice sigh like I just had. Or maybe you can create one. And then as you slide your legs down the wall and you roll over one side, you want to move into a comfortable seated position again. Maybe present with this soothing, maybe there is a soothing sensation now inside, whether it is a little bit of freshness or a sense of there is circulation and it's refreshing me, this circulation. And let's take our hands in Anjali Mudra in front of our heart and bow the head to honor our intention, our practice. Namaste. Thank you so much. Thank you also for watching the recording.
tell your friends, tell people how good these practices are, and how much we definitely need more and more regulated nervous system in the world. So let's spread the world, and let's spread the word in the world, and let's tell how much we need to feel good, because when we feel good, everything around is better. Thank you.